So, and I think with us, we get caught up in the glamour, the glitz. You know what I mean?
That's the problem.
Because that's what capitalism produces, right? So you need resources to exchange for other resources. We're not even going to like front like that's not what it is. But then you have extremism inside of capitalism where I gotta have everything. I gotta have every chair in here, including yours, for me to feel like, yo, I'm something. Right? You know what I mean? Like collective thinking it's not taught. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not taught. So it's like, since it's not taught, like when people talk about China, right? China, when they want to build projects, when they want to do something,
That's an
they ain't
example
got,
of collective
boom.
thinking. That's an example of collective thinking and a real culture, as opposed to the United States being a corporation. I mean, it has a culture, but it's not that culture is more centered on family values
And they have an ideology, right?
and collective
So
thinking. Yes.
when Mao Zedong won the country from the nationalists, which they went to Taiwan, that's why he said it's only one China. You know what I mean? The first thing Mao Zedong did was they locked their borders down for 25 years. That's a generation, right? And instituted the mentality that they needed amongst their people. The first president that came to China when they opened back up was Nixon. Right?
That's an interesting point. Add on that.
So they fully invested. When you look at, if you go on TikTok and go to type in kindergarten, what the Chinese children do in the kindergarten, they cook their own food, they sewing, they doing this and that, because they saying, yeah, yo, we giving them certain skills before we giving them so-called this type of academic. Yeah, so it's like, and of course they are homogeneous society, right? So I understand that. Over here, regardless of American corporation, it's a bunch of systems, right? You have the WASP, that's who came over here first and stole everything, right? Which is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, right? Then you had the other groups of European that later became white, right? But when you look at who's on the top, it's always the WASP. When you go to like Maine and all these different states, they call it the East Coast Establishment, right? Those is WASP. You know what I mean? Those is WASP. Those are the people that's like these are the people that didn't let Trump into their golf courses, which is why he built his own golf courses. Right? It's almost like that movie American Gods, right? I mean, not the movie, but that TV show American Gods, when they had the old gods like Zeus and them, and the new gods that was coming up, which was the techno gods and stuff like that. It's interesting. You should.
I didn't say that. What's the name? It's called what?
American Gods.
American
I think it was
Gods?
on AMC or TNT. It was on one of them joints, but you can a quick Google, it'll show you where it's coming at. But so that's how they got going on with themselves as well too, right? So when it come, but the thing that keep them together is that they don't like nobody, right? They definitely, and the only reason they don't like mainly black men, right? Imagine black men travel all over the world. We left our impact. Imagine you come thousands of years later, because other black men taught you how to use the globe and taught you how to bathe and built some of your big institutions over there in Europe, your educational institutions, before you kicked them out, right? And then you come with your boats, with your rats and your pigs on it, and you try to travel everywhere, right? Everywhere you go, you sleep with the women, and nothing but melanin seeds is produced. So imagine you can't even reproduce yourself with your own bloodline. That does something. So it's no. So when because you gotta ask yourself, why were y'all cutting black men penis off? right? If I'm beefing with you, I'm not cutting
No,
your
no,
penis
you're
off.
right, because
See what I'm saying?
we gonna get your women and we gonna do what we do.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like the ISIS paper by Frances Cress. You ever read that book?
Yes.
Right? And you know, she was a psychology,
Psychologist.
right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I respect her so much because she lost her job, she lost everything by telling the truth, right? Integrity. You know what I mean? So when you understand, if you read the ISIS paper, it's 3 books that I would recommend people read. The ISIS paper, Iceman and Heritage by Bradley, and this book called Yorugu. It's critiquing European Eurocentric thinking, right? It's like that book is like, it's a thick book, but it's worth it. And then study Europe. I'm not talking about the Europe. I'm talking about when they was the Vandals, when they was the Germanic tribe. So when you study
after Rome fell,
even before that, or even after,
during because you know when Rome fell, it was those people that took over.
So
that's how the empires rose into Europe.
So when you look at how they was living, how they was thinking, how they was moving, right? You know what I mean? Their natural mentality is destruction, right? You know what I mean? So and when you understand that, you go say, okay, how can I get mad at you for being yourself?
How can you get mad at a snake for being a snake?
You know what I mean? Like when one of my peoples, right? After the dude Penny got found not guilty for choking out the dude on the train, right? So when Kobe said, "Yo, what do you think about that?" I said, "I don't think nothing about it." I said, and the only reason you thinking something about it because you expect them to be better than who they are, and they keep showing you time and time again they are who they are, right? And then to antagonize people more. Trump invited the dude to the Army and Navy game with him and Vance, right? And people get up, oh, you can't let people control you. Symbolism is nothing, right? So you can't let people fire. Oh, they knocking down the BLM stuff. They scraping that. That's just paint on a wall, man. That's just paint on the floor. Right? You can't have no emotional detachment to that stuff like that because if I know you have emotional detachment to stuff like that, I can control you. Right? And it's like, and people are emotional. Why? Who knows why, right? If I knew that, I'll be tapped into some other type of stuff. But the people that understand should never stop sharing. They understanding, right? Like people might not want to hear you, and maybe what you share might not even be for this era. But when you share it, one thing about it, anything that's digitized or in print is going to be here forever, right? So when people 100, 200 years from now, when they studying, when they got their little microcrude books and stuff like that, they say, let me study back in the day. What was going on back then? Right? They run across certain things. They run across this version of hip hop. Okay, then they start studying hip hop, and they said, "Oh, the B-boy stand is a 5% stand. The cipher they talk that's a 5% technology, right? So let me see who the 5%ers are. And when they put in 5%ers, all the 5%ers that left a record of they were here, resurrect mentally, right?
Well, unless you have campaigns of those who were revisionists, historic, those who try to.
But why you? But it always will be, right? So, but that doesn't mean that you stop trying in your era, right?
You must do your own research, as I did.
INFMEGA did this.